I don't see anything on
They don't
those.
send it.
No.
Okay.
I have it notated as in the spending line, but I don't have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I got a question and I said to Curtis, I would wait it just a little bit more to the beginning of this month. So
Yeah.
I will follow up. I just wondered.
Test their equipment. And the second day, they flew all 250 line kilometers of data. And then they sent all the data to head office in Ontario. And they got the green light that the data looked good. And so then the third day, they took down their base station, packed up, and they were gone the next day.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, so really one day of flying. It was quick. I haven't seen the data yet, but I have had a Zoom meeting with them where they talked about the data. The one disappointment is the power line that runs along Ryndell Road had more of a disruptive effect on the data quality than what they had anticipated. They thought that they would normally they said we'd be able to filter that out, but it had quite an impact on a significant frequency range, and as a result, it limited their depth of investigation to about 600 or 700 meters, whereas previously they had hoped for a kilometer. So that's a little bit disappointing. The positive thing is there are some features that are evident. Don't want to comment at this point as to the significance of those and what they could mean, but at least it's not a white page.
Okay.
So I have the data, but I probably won't be able to look at it until I get back from the conference in Calgary. I am going to the World Geothermal Conference in Calgary this Friday, and on the weekend is the Indigenous Symposium. I extended an invite and passed the information on to the Yakanuki, but I don't know if they're planning to attend it or not. And then Monday through Thursday is the conference itself. I present on Wednesday, and there's like 1,800 delegates attending.
Wow.
And then on Friday, one of the post-conference tours is coming out here. They're stopping on Friday in Friday in Fairmont Hot Springs, and then on Saturday they're coming and stopping on their way to Ainsworth, and then they're going around. And so I'll give that group of delegates a more in-depth presentation when they're here. Initially, we were going to do it at the Ryndell Hall, but there was a little bit of a mix-up for their schedule in terms of the ferry. They were planning to catch the 4:30 ferry, and of course, the summer schedule doesn't start until after they've gone. And so we had to move it forward, and it tightened their time frame up. So we're hosting it at our place. So that's So I guess kind of looking forward, one of the things that I had hoped to move forward is some focus groups in the fall. And I talked to Kyla Hooker from your Wayfinder in Creston.
And Amy Hotchkiss, who's online, works with her.
Oh, okay. Hi, Amy. And she was going to put together a proposal to do that, but I know she was away. She went to China. And is she back now, Amy?
Yeah, she's back. She got back. Oh, am I good? You can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
She got back on Tuesday. She wasn't in the office yesterday, but as of today, she's full normal schedule.
Okay. All right. So I expect I'll see something from her on that front. Yeah, I mean, first things first, we need to dive into the data, understand what the data is telling us. If I have sufficient funds left in the kitty, my desire would be to send all of the data to Computational Geoscience in Vancouver, who do some pretty high-end geophysical processing work. I talked to them in the past, and they've indicated that they would love to get their hands on our data and work with it. What they would produce is a fully integrated 3D inversion model of what they're seeing. And so I think there would be a lot of value in that. And so fingers crossed we'll have some funds remaining to do that work. And it'll be important to see that and integrate it and understand it before we know exactly what the next steps look like. And then, of course, once we've done that, then we would have these focus groups and talk to the community about what we're seeing, what it means, and where it could lead. But yeah, so it obviously, as you go from the technical into the socioeconomic realm, there's a lot of other factors to consider, and it's they're important things to do. So hence contact with Kyla. So yeah, so stay tuned, I guess.
I was searching for a tab, but it doesn't matter that I find the proper title. Thursday, I'm going to drive to Edmonton, and I'm going to loop back through Kamloops, all Texas again, to the FCM conference. And one of the sessions is along the lines of the future of thermal energy. So I just thought I'd mention it today that I don't have that one. They don't do online. They want everybody to show up, but I don't know if they have digital stuff that I'll be able to, like sometimes after presentations, they give stuff. So it's just going to maybe randomly send you stuff, whatever
Okay.
they're talking about.
Okay.
And I'm curious because whoever is presenting, you never know, they may be zipping back to Calgary because ours ends Sunday morning.
Okay.
So they might be an overlap there.
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention is that Geoscience BC, one of the members of their technical advisory committee, facilitated an introduction to a postdoc geoscientist from Switzerland, and he did a lot of research on a geothermal system in Switzerland that has many similar attributes to the system here. And so he's pretty keen to help us if we can find the funding to compensate him for his time. He sent me some high level concept ideas, which I've looked at, and I'll be meeting him at the conference he's going to be attending. But that's one of the things kind of still within that kind of technical basket that would be a really nice thing to do, is to have someone with a PhD in structural geology that's worked on a similar system to kind of look at this and put it into kind of his frame of reference, because that's one thing that I don't have the background or the skills to do. So
I should also know, but I didn't. It's more loose. Carney has his national electrification plan rolling out. We also have a workshop on that. I do have the tab for that open, but I don't expect we'll see much. But I'm hoping before long they'll say if there's an incentive for, say, the Fortis scale utility to add whatever other green energy sources, that there might be a federal kick in to that kind of thing. So that's one of the other workshops I had flagged. So you might get random stuff on that.
yeah, one of the facilitators of the World Geothermal Conference Tour is Catherine Hickson, who used to be president of Geothermal Canada, and she was also on the Geoscience BC Technical Advisory Commission. And she attended a Clean BC Renewable Energy or Clean Energy Conference recently in Vancouver, and had some conversations with Fortis at that meeting. And she was going to bring me up to speed when I see her, either at the conference or when she's here on the 13th.
Do you get Stuart Muir's newsletters?
No.
He mainly oil and gas, but in all things energy. And that name, Catherine Hickson's familiar because he feeds newsletters with like all these conferences and what direction they're leaning and stuff like that. So there's going to be some money somewhere is what I'm thinking soon.
Well,
or none of it means anything. Nobody's going to be the early adopter without a little bit of a push.
Well, and just an aside, the Iceland Minister of Energy met with Carney. This is a few weeks back, and I saw a post on LinkedIn where he encouraged Carney to come to the geothermal conference.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But so far, I haven't heard anything. Daniel Smith is doing the opening the opening address, so,
Interesting.
yeah.
There's potential.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Keep working it.
Yeah. So lots in the go for that stuff.
Yeah, yes,
that's great.
exciting week ahead.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anyone have any questions?
Forest
Forest?
bed.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are the negative implications of that 300 to 400 meters of lost data from the power line?
Sorry, what is your question?
Well, what's the negative, like, how is that going to practically inhibit some of the work because of not getting that data?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, really. I mean, when it comes to drilling some test wells, we had only ever envisioned drilling, 500 to 700 meter test wells, and if we can see to that depth, there's nothing lost. What you have lost is that extra kind of context at depth. How do the
Okay.
features that you see within that top 500-600 meters express themselves as you go deeper? And often, well, as you can appreciate, these things come from depth, and so
Yeah.
you'd like to see it kind of disappear off the screen, kind of thing, to know that it's deep rooted. But no, I mean it's certainly, the data is certainly workable. It's just we had expectations and hopes to see a deeper window.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
Is it interesting, is it just the fact that there are power lines, or was it the power line that running that road? Like, were they,
Well,
because I know their other flyovers or their areas of interest weren't necessarily through that
yeah.
line, right?
Well, the one comment that they made was it was like dirty power.
That's what I was wondering, if it's not well filtered, you're getting, because they can filter it out if it's very constant harmonics or whatever,
very clean.
they can pull it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And so you could see a really good profile on the east-west tie lines that they flew. And you could just see this spike as, where they crossed the power line. And I said, well, that looks pretty isolated to where the power line is. And they said, well, you can't ignore the spread of that spike. It's not just that the apex of it, but it's that which affected it. And as you move further away from the power line, your depth of investigation becomes deeper. But by that time, you're up at the top of the range, right?
We're out in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really kind of out of our
Out of what we're looking at,
interest,
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Fortis? I was kidding. No. Well,
That's dirty power.
no, it's just interesting. I was wondering if it was like all power lines or if it's.
Well, no, I
may or
I
may
think
not-
it has to do with that particular line, and I don't know the reasons why.
Mhm.
What might be the transformers themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be anything.
Like he said, normally they could filter this out, but he said this was particularly dirty. Was the
Interesting.
expression he used, so
Things you learn you didn't know you needed to learn.
that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? No, or comments? No? Okay. Thanks, Gord.
I didn't look, has anyone else joined?
Yeah.
We have an observer, we don't have the chamber still.
Yeah. We do have public time. Amy, were you here, just listening in, or did you have?
Yeah, I'm just here to listen this time. I might get Gary to add something to the agenda next time, but just kind of here on behalf of your wayfinders to hear what's happening.
I was actually thinking, making a comment, and this is for next time, that expression of interest or call for expressions of interest for the Economic Action Partnership has still not, I haven't seen a draft of it yet. I thought it would have
Hasn't
been.
gone out, no.
No, it hasn't gone out, but I haven't even seen a first draft. So I'm not quite sure when that's gonna happen. We're ticking along through the year, and so this is a decision point that we gotta look at the budget. Generally, we budgeted for whatever point something FTEs and then money for doing this and that and stuff. And that's how we came up between areas A, B, C, and Town of Creston for sort of a 12-month at a time program. we're holding a bit of funds that we didn't
Yeah.
run through last year, and we're fully, like, we're coming up on halfway through this year. So when we get queries from Chamber of Commerce or others, we can rethink what we have available for grants. Or, as Gord is saying, we don't quite know what the analysis of this data is gonna cost. And if you have any funding streams for that. So, we'll need to do a rethink on the budget, including Economic Action Partnership
Yeah.
pretty soon. And I guess, and it's something I discussed with Amy and Kayla, we can be open to proposals. We still have our data set. It's 300 points, I think, are on the map and in the data set for eShore.life. We can just say we're gonna go ahead and update that, make it more available. It still is useful to both of the DMOs for destination marketing. Because if you wanna do something, hold an event, whatever, it's nice to know who has whatever.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, if you're in business, it's nice to know currently, like, who are the electricians who will actually show up? Who's almost retired and they may or may not come here, or, well, I'm picking on electricians for a reason. Who's in business and work in this area continually? Which
Yeah.
plumbers are available? Who would you need for carpentry? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we could also think about taking a stab at that database. And that then would also feed better into Invest Kootenai or Imagine Kootenai, which is also lingering a little bit. The website has been completely updated. They just built a new website and then dumped information into it. So it apparently works better, and I've been looking at it off and on. I've been going to the meetings, quarterly meetings only. And we now need to have somebody populate our database. So, Veronica had done it one time, I guess, because of her connectivity with people. But anybody who has a good sense of who we are and what's around, what the businesses are that are either for sale or thinking of, that personal touch, like, hi, you can list with a realtor and you can also focus or showcase yourself rather on this investment site. So that's another thing that's just been sort of lingering that we could look at. Do we put a bit of dollars towards that update?
Okay.
Who manages that, Gary?
It's still through KES.
Okay,
But it involves, because Kootenai Employment Services expanded right across a big part of the East Kootenays. So right now, they were staffing out of Cranbrook. But they've had staff changes again, which is, economic development practitioners, I don't think make a huge amount of dollars, and I think they have to be opportunistic. And so I see people moving over the years fairly often to try and find the right fit. So the person who helped set up the rejig, the new website, feed everything into it, set up a social media, and there's one individual still with KES who does all those social media. She's going to continue to monitor the site as a whole. But it's through Kootenai Employment Services, still the current contract. But it's like a few of these other contracts. It's not locked in for 3 to 5 years. It gives administration or management for those, especially the not-for-profits, some reassurance that they can bring somebody on board and say, yeah, we need you to do this
3 to
and
5
this.
years.
Otherwise, you'll find those people
Yeah.
are looking further afield. Like our last rep for doing some of our Economic Action Partnership work, Rupert is putting a big push. They're seeing more money going to the Northwest than the last several decades. And so she got hired away by Prince Rupert because they say they need to coordinate some of these big projects and what the impacts are on the town and on the port. So it's better if, as local government, we don't have a lot of work, but if we can be a little more, clear about, we want this for 3 years and we were able to fund it for that kind of funding stream, you get better result.
Yeah.
So how we work our budget next month would be a good time to think that through.
Okay, I've got a copy of like the initial one that was done in November. And I've just sort of been doing a running tab as to what's
So
granted out.
do you have what we have not allocated
We have 9,000 unallocated.
on the general grants, but then we
Yeah.
haven't the EAP
And
amount.
the EAP,
We haven't,
Invest Kootenai is 25,600.
we haven't moved that money yet.
And well, I would assume not if there hasn't been much movement on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it really depends. Or do we split it down the middle? Cause we're technically we're almost half a year in, so we cut it in half.
Preston would like us to do physician recruitment under the same banner, and I don't see that working. But that's my personal opinion. We need to see that request for expression of interest and how they frame it.
Mm-hmm,
If you do something well, you know how to bid it, and you know you got the people, and you just do it.
yeah,
If it's a little more obscure task, you will tend to have to put more of a cushion on the pricing, and you may be searching for people, and then that puts your administrative cost up. And why would you ask somebody to do something that they don't feel confident they can do well?
mm-hmm,
I've easily turned down work for decades. I say, I don't think I'm your best guy, but you know, there's 3 other people that maybe I know that could do it.
yeah.
So I'd like to see that expression of interest document. Maybe it has to be split.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we'll wait another month or so. We have the one observer. Are you just choosing to observe? If you would like to say something, you can unmute now.
Did they do chat? Sometimes they do chat.
I can't,
Here, I'll look.
it doesn't look like that.
There's been nothing in the chat.
Oh, okay, okay, great, thanks, Forrest. If I don't move the cursor, you can't even see it, it disappears.
Okay, well, that being said, and no chamber,
Nobody here?
nobody else is here. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 7th at 2:00 Pacific time. BC time, what are we calling that these days? Almost BC time?
Pacific time,
Almost BC time?
just
It's
Pacific.
Pacific time, yeah,
July 7th?
July 7th.
Tuesday, yep, still works.
Okay, adjournment at 2:25.
All right.
Thanks, everybody, for coming and virtually and at the table here.
Yeah, thanks, Gina. Sorry I couldn't be there in person this time.
All good. Can't be 7 places all at the same time.
There's no snacks anyway.
Bring them.
No, not you, Richard. I'm gonna have to do that. Okay. Okay. Bye for now.
See you, Gary.
Mhm.